Good morning, all. What's up? This is Marcus Ferrell Live, Marcus for America on Instagram. This is one of my first lives on Instagram. It is what it is. Today we're going to talk about something real basic because we got to get it in. Look, today's first 5 topics is Trump's racist Truth Social post and targeting the Obamas last night. It's a very interesting thing. And if you see me going back and forth, that's because I'm using 2 different platforms for one thing. The next thing is Trump's long documented pattern of racial dehumanization. Fulton County black voters and why this obsession is Fulton County, Georgia. That's Atlanta, Georgia, and his obsession with our county's voters. And by the way, I live in Fulton County, and he sent FBI over to our county to count votes. But we're going to get into all this and why it all ties together. ICE is going to be used as the modern day voter suppression tool, and we warned you about it. It is what it is. ICE is about to be Doc Johnson. What's up, man? ICE is going to be used as the modern day voter suppression tactic, and I have a specific history for this stuff right here. And also, I am going to address. And this is especially for my folks on TikTok. I am going to address why I use AI today. I'm going to address why I use AI in some of my content creation. Because I'm tired of arguing about it. And to be quite honest with you, you can weaponize tools for good and evil. Let's get into it. First, last night, Trump reposting imagery of depicting the Obamas as gorillas is not a misunderstanding. It's not an accident. It's not just a meme. This is one of the oldest racist tropes in Western history, used deliberately to strip Black people of humanity. The imagery wasn't subtle, ironic, or ambiguous. It leaned directly into dehumanization, knowing exactly who would see it and exactly how it would land. Trump has always tested the boundaries of what racism he can get away with in public. Every time he crosses the line and survives, the next line moves further. This post was not about humor or politics. It was about signaling. It was a wink to the base that understands the language without needing it to be explained. Racism doesn't always have to shout. Sometimes it just smirks. This was a smirk with history behind it. What matters just as much is what didn't happen afterwards. There was no immediate removal, no apology, no acknowledgement of harm. The response was deflection, denial, minimizing, which is the standard playbook. The White House basically just said it was drama. Y'all, you guys are overdoing it. Their silence is the permission structure that keeps this behavior alive. When powerful institutions treat overt racism as discourse, it normalizes it. The goal is exhaustion, not persuasion. Trump doesn't need everyone to agree. He just needs people to stop reacting. That's how the floor drops. This wasn't a one-off scandal. It was a temperature check, and the temperature keep rising. Look, we got to keep it real. I am absolutely sick of anyone saying what isn't blatantly obvious in our face at this point in America, and that is Trump is a racist. Our president is a whole fascist. I've made multiple videos about how Black folks in America have warned that Trump was a blatant racist. But America could have did his research itself. America could have went out of its way and did the exact research itself when it comes down to Trump. And here's what I mean by that. When Trump took out the full page ads demanding for the death of the Central Park Five, when Trump went out of his way to not rent to black and brown voters, when Trump, I mean, we're not going to talk about Trump talking about foreign countries and calling them S-hole countries. I mean, we know about the sexism. We kind of figured Trump was a creep, a freak, a weirdo. I don't even use freaks because there's great freaks out there, but a weirdo. We knew something was going on with him on the bottom half besides his incontinence. We knew that. But what it seems like white America really didn't understand was that he was racist. No matter how many times black and brown people have said, hey, yo, this guy is a racist. But here's the thing. It's not that they didn't understand. It's that some of our white brothers and sisters, they were okay with it. They were fine with it. And that's my problem. My problem is when a brown person, a Native American person, a black person in this country actually sends out the smoke signals about what's going on in the communities, the lack of empathy on the back end when it comes down to just being willing to listen has always been terrible, always been personal. And Trump has rode the wave of modern racism all the way into fascism. That's the cute part. The cute part is the Trump administration Trump and his allies have been riding the wave of blatant racism right in front of your face. And white America didn't do anything about it. Now, early polling suggests, and also early election results suggest that the Trump administration is in trouble during these midterms because of the radically absurd difference when it comes down to the polling numbers. In Texas recently, a R plus 30 seat was flipped Democratic. That means what? Because we can't do it by ourselves, black and brown folks. That means that white folks are finally understanding it. Whoa, why? Why did it take so long? Oh, because your egg prices went up. Oh, because Renee Good passed away. Alex Preddy, around your camera. It was shocking for some of these white Americans to actually see. It was shocking. When Tim Scott, the U.S. Senator out of South Carolina, says something against Trump publicly, you know the dam has broken. Tim Scott called it egregiously racist in public. Tim Scott, the black U.S. Senator from South Carolina, who has notoriously been a bootlicker for Donald Trump and his administration, actually came out of his mouth and said something against Daddy today. That's when we know it's a problem. We're going to get into something else real quick. Clip that. Trump's long pattern of racial dehumanization. This incident perfectly fits into a pattern that spans decades. From housing discrimination cases to birtherism to shithole countries, the thought line is consistent. Trump politics are built on racial hierarchy dressed up as grievance. He's always framed black success as illegitimate and a black protest as criminal. When black people were visible, he treats it as a threat. When black people spoke, he treated it as noise. When black people vote, he treated it as fraud. This is an ideology. This is instinct. Racism is not a subtle side effect of his politics. It's the engine. The strategy is simple and brutally effective. Dehumanize first, justify punishment later. Once people are reduced to caricatures, cruelty feels responsible. That's how family separation becomes policy and voter suppression becomes security. Trump didn't invent this formula, but he modernized it. Social media gave him a megaphone that's plausible deniability at the same time. He can't always say, I didn't mean that in that way, while knowing exactly how it will be received. The duality of that is not confusion, it's design. And history shows us exactly where that road leads. The racism of Trump is not lost on me, ironically. And what I mean by that is he has consistently, well, first, his ego is huge. We know that. But if you know anything about narcissists in America, you know anything about narcissists, you know that they have a very big, robust ego, but they're really small and fractured on the inside. And he is showing us that in real time. But before I get to the next topic, I want to say thanks, everybody, for joining me this morning. Welcome to Marcus Ferrell Live. This is Marcus for America on Instagram and Marcus Ferrell Live on YouTube, TikTok, and all those other places that you guys watch me. Good morning to all my folks on YouTube. What's up, y'all? Y'all been seeing me. Shout out to everybody who's watching me from the clickbaity political thirst trap channel and also the Marcus Ferrell Live channel. Please like, subscribe, and if you don't mind, share this out to anyone who gives a damn about it. These Trump tactics, if you know what narcissism is in America right now, if you know what narcissism is, you know that narcissists do anything to protect their fragile egos. This is not going to be my therapy channel, even though I do have one, the narcop@gmail.com. I mean, the narcop. But this is not my narcissistic abuse channel. What I am going to get into this morning, which is very obvious to me, which I need everybody to completely understand, is that he uses these racial tactics to try to subvert constitutional systems in America and do it under the auspice of the dog whistling racism. If you notice, he's been to only black counties. He sent the FBI to only black counties to go and count the votes. Like here, right here where I'm at right now, in Fulton County, Georgia. He sent the FBI last week to go and recount the votes and take the votes from his 2020 election. Now, why did he do this? I need you guys to understand something. Why did he go to Fulton County? Now, let's use common sense real quick. This is the home of Outkast. This is the home of almost every trap rapper. The county that I'm talking about, the county that I live in right now. This was the area that Martin Luther King walked on a daily basis. Fulton County, Georgia is not just Atlanta. It's the Tri-Cities, where 2 Chainz comes from. Fulton County, Georgia is one of the blackest areas in America across the board. Why do you think Donald Trump thought that these areas were the areas that somehow cheated him out of a vote? When he called then, and I'm going to walk you through this real quick. I used to be the chief of staff of one of America's largest voting registration organizations, New Georgia Project, in the year where then Secretary of State, now Governor Brian Kemp, a Republican, in a year where he purged 200,000 black and brown voters off the voting roll. Use that as context. I want y'all to use that as context. When he purged these people off the voting roll, my organization, New Georgia Project at the time, went the same year and registered 400,000 people to counteract his 200,000 people. Now, I want you to use that as context. So when the 2020 election came around, and Trump called then Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger and says to Brad Raffensperger, could you find me X amount of votes? Brad was like, no, I can't do that. Now, this is a Republican Secretary of State. And guess who was the governor? Brian Kemp. Now, I wanted to put this together for y'all. You mean to tell me the same man who purged 200,000 black and brown voters from the voting roll actually said, no, Donald Trump, you didn't get cheated. You lost here in Georgia. That should show you. If another Republican tells you, hey, dog, chill out. You didn't win this one. Take this L. It's okay. One that already purged voters? You know Trump has a problem. So he came to the blackest county in America. He came to the blackest county in America last week, and he's trying to find votes. But why is he doing it? Why is he doing it right now? Why in the home of outcasts? Why in the home of the Falcons, the Hawks? Trap music. The beginning of the Southern Revolution of hip hop. The home of Martin Luther King, Ralph Abernathy. There's the place where Tyler Perry Studios is located as we speak right now. Why would all these black folks that run the American Black Wakanda be voting for Donald Trump at high numbers? It should be common sense. This is a black place. You're not going to win black places, Donald Trump. You're not. You're just not going to be able to get the votes that you need. But right now, he is somewhere in some room re-scribbling votes to prove that there was voter fraud. He's addicted to that because he believes that he cannot lose. And he also believes that everybody loves him. Even though in a black county, he's willing to post Michelle and Barack Obama as gorillas. You got to miss me with that, family. You got to miss me with that. Fulton County, Georgia is one of the blackest counties in America. It's anchored by Atlanta, a global black cultural and economic hub. This place with generations of black civic participation, institutions, churches, universities, and organizers. The idea that mass voter fraud occurred here is not just false, it's absurd. They counted the vote 6 times. What Trump is really saying is that too many black people voted. He cannot imagine a scenario where black turnout equals legitimacy. In his worldview, black political power is automatically suspicious. That's the tell. Fulton County didn't just become a target of irregularities. It became a target because it worked. High turnout, organized voters. I know, I'm an organizer here. And strong civic infrastructure threatened the minority rule. So the response to is the criminalization process. You can't win the vote, you attack the voters. When you can't attack them directly, you invent conspiracies. This is not about how Georgia alone. It's a template meant to be exploited anywhere black voters show strength. The message is simple. Participation will be punished. And that message is being delivered loud and clear. Y'all thought it was about the immigrants. Now, don't get me wrong. What ICE is doing is wrong. But in my humble opinion, Trump's #1 target has been, will be, and will always be black Americans. You know why? Donald Trump has the craziest obsession with Barack Hussein Obama in the history of mankind. He can't get off that man's nuts. Let's just go ahead and say it how it is. Donald Trump cannot get off. He knows that a black person with his beautiful black wife would beat him. He can't stand the thought of Obamacare. He can't stand the thought of black excellence anywhere. ICE is a practice run. What ICE is doing right now in the practice run. We have not even seen their biggest hit yet. Y'all think ICE is about immigration enforcement? No. ICE is about making Donald Trump's own personal army. Because he knows that the Congress is not going to allow him to do too much with the American army. So what are they going? What's the big tell? What are they going to do? What are they going to do? ICE is about to be the modern voter suppression. In America, we've seen this before. See, in the 1960s and 50s and 40s and 30s, when black folks started getting voting rights here in America, and yes, black men did get the right to vote before black women. I mean, before black women and white women. That's neither here nor there. When we started voting, sheriffs in different cities would do things like put police cars or sheriff's vehicles in front of voting locations. They would actually deny people access to the courthouse to go register to vote. Most importantly, in this situation, they would hang and lynch black families that decided to vote. This wasn't 17,000 years ago. This was in the 1960s. This was in the 1970s. My mom was alive. I was alive. Hell, some of you were alive. So if you think about what ICE is about to do, I'll explain it. I'm going to connect the dots to ICE. Historically, voter suppression has always used fear as its primary weapon. In the 1950s and 60s, it was police, sheriffs, mobs, and physically surrounding polling places. The goal wasn't arrest, it was intimidation. By making voting feel dangerous, unpredictable, and risky. Today's version doesn't need hoods or clubs. It needs uniforms, ambiguity, and selective enforcement. The immigration enforcement near communities of color serves the same psychological purpose. Fear doesn't have to be illogical, but it has to be effective. The rumor is that ICE may be used as a voter suppression tactic isn't shocking, it's familiar. We've seen this movie before with updated special effects. You don't need to stop everyone. You just need to stop enough people. Hence them being in these black communities right now. The chilling effect does the rest of the work. Families tell each other to stay home. Elders decide it's not worth the stress. First-time voters get scared off permanently. That's how democracy erodes quietly. Not with one dramatic effect, but with 1,000 small fears stacked all the way together. Trump is about to use ICE to stop your ass from voting. But what Trump doesn't realize is that he done pissed off the white people, and there's not enough ICE agents. Historically, there's certain areas of the country that guarantee the left votes. Fulton County is one of them. Chicago, Illinois, and Cook County is another one. These super blue cities that stop fascism and has stopped fascism for years are the places that he's about to send these ICE agents. I didn't know until 2 days ago that ICE already had an office here in Fulton County over in College Park. Now, I'm going to tell you something. I'm not a person that condones any violence. But let me tell you about the YNs, the young Negroes in Georgia, in Atlanta. We ain't having it. We got to weaponize what the ICE is doing right now. Just because I did say something about not going, why black folks aren't going out to protest the ICE violence in massive numbers, does not mean that we don't civically engage. We're not staying home on that level. Now, there's some of us who believe, oh, you don't need to vote, this, that, and the other. I'm going to tell you something, family. Whoever it is, when ICE starts kicking in doors and just saying, hey, I'm going to pull you out because I think you're illegal, that's what we call the Gestapo. So be careful. Again, I'm not warning violence, but the right to bear arms. My last topic of today. Why I use AI voices. Why I use AI voices. Yeah, that's right. I use AI voices. And I want to say something. I've been making content on social issues for about I don't know, 7 years now, 8 years now. And what I noticed about America is that when a black voice says it, it gets ignored. I think y'all know that. I do think y'all know that. I think y'all know that when black voices get speak, we get ignored. And I'm specifically addressing my people on Instagram right now, because there's a lot of comments in my comment section about, oh yeah, well, you're using the AI voice. I'm gonna tell you something real quick. This is just a personal opinion. I've been posting on Instagram for the past year and nothing popped. But as soon as I decided to use an English British voice instead of using mine, 1 million people saw the same exact message that I've been spitting for a year. So though I know the dangers of AI, I'm going to tell you I'm going to keep using it. I'm going to keep using it. I don't care. And because I'm going to weaponize it the way they weaponize it against us, I'm going to weaponize it for us. But now you guys can see my face. I'm going to repeat that. I've been posting on Instagram all year long. As soon as I changed my voice to a white English voice, 1.1 million people looked at the same shit that I've been posting for the past few years. So no, I'm not going to stop. Anyway, this is Marcus Ferrell, Marcus Ferrell Live. You can follow me on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, all the platforms. Marcus Ferrell Live on YouTube. Marcus for America on Instagram. We out here. It's not Pierce Morgan's voice. They say it sounds like David Attenborough, by the way, but it's not David Attenborough's voice. Somebody actually imitated David Attenborough to make the voice. So with that being said, this has been Marcus Ferrell. I enjoyed my conversation. Come back and join me sometime. Peace.